A lot of us pay money when we leave AA to get AA out of our head. I think it is money well spent. This is freedom money. If you are out of AA and leaving AA and paying money to get out of AA, yes, you are paying for your freedom, for your autonomy, for your self-fucking-vation. Totally. It was worth it. It was a vibe. It was so liberating. It's really one of the most liberating things I've ever done is to leave Alcoholics Anonymous and to get AA out of my mind, to literally unfuck my mind from 12-step ideology. Welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. I am Kirsten, your host and your friend for this lovely episode in the Daily Deprogram series. Today we're going to be talking about how Alcoholics Anonymous is not actually free. What are the hidden costs of AA? What is it costing you to get and stay sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, especially when you are building up long-term sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous? So a lot of people will say AA is free. The reason why people go to AA instead of therapy is because AA is free and therapy is expensive. And so I would like to say right now, I actually did spend some money on therapy in order to deprogram AA. There's a cost associated with leaving AA. I didn't know I was going to start here, but it's coming through. Let's trust the flow and keep going. So yes, when I left AA, I was freaked the fuck out because I believed the ideology was true. Now, I understand not everybody was fully indoctrinated true believer vibes like I was, but I was definitely true believer vibes. So what that meant was I believed that I had a fatal progressive disease. I believed that, and everyone shunned me when I left. Nobody wanted to really talk to me when I said I'm not in AA anymore and I'm not going to meetings. But also I believed that to leave was to die, essentially, because if I die, surely I'm going to pick up in a matter of times because there's this disease in the parking lot doing push-ups. There's my disease getting stronger. There's something in my head. All that fear and phobia that was implanted into me when I got to AA was running in my head. So just because you walk out of the room physically doesn't mean that the dogma is out of your head. So in order to deprogram and to come to the realization that no, I'm not going to die if I leave AA, that actually it is safe to leave AA, I needed to hire a therapist and I needed to go pay for those sessions. So that was not free and it shouldn't be free. Like help should not be free. Like there's a cost there. These professionals have gone to school and are educated and have a lot of experience. We all deserve to earn money, make a living. And so yes, the therapy should have cost money and it did, and it wasn't free. So that was a cost of me being inside Alcoholics Anonymous, was the cost I had to pay when I left to deprogram AA and get AA out of my head. A lot of us pay money when we leave AA to get AA out of our head. I think it is money well spent. This is freedom money. If you are out of AA and leaving AA and paying money to get out of AA, yes, you are paying for your freedom, for your autonomy, for your self-fucking-vation. Totally. It was worth it. It was a vibe. It was so liberating. It's really one of the most liberating things I've ever done is to leave Alcoholics Anonymous and to get AA out of my mind, to literally unfuck my mind from 12-step ideology. It's a thing. It's not like the ideology doesn't just pop out of our head. I think over time we can change our mind and make shifts. But for me, I went deep into it. I wanted to remove the fears. I wanted to remove the guilt. I wanted to remove the shame. I wanted to process the feelings. And I wanted to understand what I felt was true and to critically think. And so AA is not free. There are costs associated with leaving, with deprogramming. Did you pay money when you left AA? And was it money good spent? Let me know below. What is up? Tell me all about it. So yeah, drop it in the comments. I want to know your experience. And yeah, I proudly paid for therapy when I left AA, and it was so liberating. I was in weekly therapy for 6 months when I left AA that was specifically around helping me get out of AA. And my therapist was super helpful with that. She was not a 12-step therapist. I would definitely recommend getting a therapist that's not 12-step. And if you have one that understands high control, mind control, ideology, ideological possession, cult-like stuff, or even cult deprogramming, or there's religious trauma, post-religious trauma. I don't know. If you get a therapist who knows what they're doing when it comes to this, and it's like a PTSD with leaving AA, to be shunned from your tribe, if that's what happens for you, to completely rearrange your thought process, to remove an ideology from your head. It's like having an exorcism. Can we say that? Exorcise Bill's ideas out of my head. Let's get it. Be gone. Let's remove them. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So moving along, let's talk about the cost of being inside of AA, not just the cost of leaving AA, but the cost of being inside AA. So when they say AA is free, the first thing that I think now is it's free labor. It is literally free labor. You are told very directly, I was told very directly that I need to give my life for the cause, otherwise I'm going to die. That's essentially the message. Now, it's not those specific words, but the vibe is that I need to give it away to keep it. You can't keep it if you don't give it away. I need to do step 12. I need to be helping people, carrying the message and showing up at meetings and sponsoring people and being totally committed to the meetings for my own program. And in order to maintain my sobriety, I actually have to sponsor other people. Now, I actually enjoyed sponsoring other people. I enjoyed being in Alcoholics Anonymous. Not the first bit I didn't like at all. And then as soon as I realized it was baloney, I just left. So I liked it up until the day I left, pretty much. And then I was like, wait, it's not true. I'm choosing integrity over, do I want to stay with something that I think is shit that I actually liked, or do I want to just move on and like live in truth? Well, it's not even if it's not real, it's not real. Just like when I realized Santa wasn't real, it was over. When I realized AA wasn't real, it was over. There was no should I stay or should I go? It's like, oh shit, it's baloney, I'm out. But I was also 10 and a half years sober when I left AA. So if I already knew it was baloney and I was in the beginning, I would have gotten benefit from staying. I have a lot of respect for those of you who are half in, half out AA, who can kind of see it for what it is, but aren't going super into the ideology. Maybe you have a sponsor and you're doing the steps and you're getting benefits, but you also realize that you don't want to be in a forever recovery model. You don't agree with the entire ideology. You're literally able to take what you want and leave the rest. I was never able to take what I want and leave the rest because I believed it was all true. So if you believe that it's all true, there really isn't taking what you want and leaving the rest because you're going to die. Like half measures availed us nothing. Rarely have we seen a person fail who's thoroughly followed our path. You got to take it all. Yeah, the cost of the free labor for me specifically. So I probably averaged 10 hours a week in Alcoholics Anonymous over the 10.5 years that I was inside. I probably averaged or actually maybe it was even 11 now that I think about it, because I went to about a meeting a day over the entire time. Now I went to less meetings later on, like maybe I went to between 2 and 6 or 2 and 7, maybe average 3 or 4 meetings a week towards the end of my sobriety. But in the beginning, I was going to like 2, sometimes even 3 meetings a day. I was unemployable in the beginning. My brain wasn't working very well. I was coming off benzos. I was a hot mess. So I was constantly every morning and every night. So I was doubling down or even tripling down in the beginning. I also went to those like alcothons or the conventions where you're going to meetings every hour for days. And so I would say I probably averaged 1 meeting a day over the 10 and a half years. Plus I always had 3 sponsees. So that's 3 more hours a week. Plus I had a sponsor, I want to say the first 7 years. That might be right. So that's another hour a week added on. I didn't have a sponsor at the end. Honestly, there was nobody who had sobriety that looked attractive to me that I could find. That there was nobody who had what I wanted. I guess that was already me being like, maybe I'm kind of done here. There wasn't anybody who I felt like was my mentor or was my guide or something. So also I lived in a very small community. I lived on an island. So there wasn't a lot of people there who even had, most of the people there were newcomers in the program. So there wasn't a lot of options. I'm obviously not going to have somebody with like 6 months sober be my sponsor when I'm like 9 years in. So there wasn't a lot of options there. So if we do 10 hours a week across 10 and a half years, that is 5,460 hours of free labor for Bill's idea. That's not fucking free. 10 hours a week is a part-time job. This is free labor. It's not free program. It is free labor. And then I even started wondering, like, we're coercively controlled that if we don't do this, we're going to die. Now, not everybody believes that, but I did. So inside my head, the mind control worked, and I believed if I don't do all this, I'm going to die. So I'm doing all of this. Yes, at some point I liked it and enjoyed it, a lot of it, but I'm doing it from a place of fear that if I don't do this, I'll get drunk and die. So it's coming from a deep coercive control, from a mind control, from a brainwashing that isn't based upon modern science or reality. So yes, although I liked it, The people at frickin' Jonestown liked it. Are you kidding me? Like, when we're deep in ideologies, we like it because that's part of the fucking brainwashing. We believe the system saved our life. We believe then, therefore, we owe the system our life. It's baloney. A lot of things go into saving our lives. I did a whole podcast about it, about I saved my own life. And that was a huge revelation for me that I had in my deprogramming therapy. It was like, but when we believe that the AA system saved our life, then we do feel, some of us feel that we owe AA for eternity for our life, that we have to always give it back, we owe. People feel really guilty about that. I felt guilty about that. I don't anymore. I don't. What I believe in, I believe that purpose is a great thing to have. And purpose doesn't have to be our career. Purpose could be the work that we did in AA that Bill said was our purpose. Purpose could be being a parent. Purpose could be taking care of a dog. Purpose could be something in your community. Purpose could be anything. It could be writing. It could be like a creative outlet. It could be YouTubing, right? It could be anything. But I feel like when we have a purpose, our mental health, our mental well-being is going to be much better. And the purpose could really be anything. I mean, maybe the purpose is even to get better at video games. I don't know. We can be creative with it. It doesn't have to be, I need to find my purpose, like a big stressful thing. So I've learned that, especially with the part of my brain that's been called ADHD, that I have what could be considered a dopamine deficit, or a desire for dopamine that is a little bit different than a so-called neurotypical brain. Because I know that how my brain works best, it's when I am getting dopamine, that I position myself to get it in positive ways. I was getting dopamine in positive ways inside AA, but AA isn't true. So how can I position myself to get dopamine in positive ways outside of AA, so I'm not reaching for an addiction, like a destructive path like alcohol or drugs or something, but that I can position my brain so that it can be giving myself the rewards that it likes, and healthy and happy and working. Obviously, movement and exercise is really good for that, and nutrition. But I find that purpose is also really important. What do you think about purpose? What do you think about this whole conversation? Do you think AA was free? Yes, we put $1 or $2 or $10 in the basket. And yes, we might have gone to a lot of meetings, and over a decade, that would have been several $1,000s that I put into the basket. So when I say AA is not free, I'm not talking about the thousands of dollars that I've given AA. I'm not talking about the books that I bought, and that was probably less than $100 in AA books, literature, right? And I'm not talking about the 1,000 here, 1,000 there to go to AA conventions, whether I was going to Icky Paw, Wacky Paw, whatever Paw, when I was going to AA, or even Akron, Ohio itself. Yes, there was plane tickets, hotels. Actually, when I went to Founders Day in Akron, Ohio, we stayed at Akron, Ohio. I think it was at Ohio State University. We stayed in the dorms there, me and my sponsee. So I'm not including all that money, but if you pile all the money together I spent in Alcoholics Anonymous, it was thousands of dollars, or even when you think about airfare, probably $10,000. I'm not even talking about that $1,000 a year I spent on AA. I'm talking about the free labor. What is your time worth? If we looked at minimum wage and looked at what your time's worth, or looked at what you actually make and what your time's worth, it is a part-time job. So for me, AA is not free. What do you think? What's true for you? If you want to go a little further with this conversation, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. You can send me a DM on all the socials. I'll put those links for those below as well. If you want to go further in deprogramming, I have an online course. I will link that below as well. Actually, look at all the links below. There's lots of different ways I can help you move forward or feel connected in this journey that might feel really isolating otherwise, whether it's with me or with a community or with an online course. If you're in a place where you're feeling stuck and frustrated and confused, I call it like the mind fuckery of leaving AA. If you're there, let's get you through. So if you have a question you want me to answer in a show, let me know. And I'm here to serve. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun here too. I love doing this. I love making these videos for you, and I'd like to be in the conversation. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you in the comments. Have a great day.